Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we are going to work on a sweet little bracelet using our March Bargain Bead Box Art Deco Luxe. I think it's going to be really cute. Anyway, I hope it will be, and I hope you enjoy making it with me. Let's turn down and we'll get started. Okay, this is our bracelet pieces. We're going to string it on Soft Flex peridot. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this little piece here. Now, I thought this was really lightweight and I didn't really want to use it for a pendant piece, even though it is really, really pretty. If I'd had two, I would have made it into earrings. But since I only have one, we are going to use it sort of as a bracelet focal with this, this barrel bead on this side. And then we are going to put the spacers, some spacers, and we'll have a green spacer, rondelle, green spacer. Oh, I already put the spacer down there. Didn't put the green, that's what I'm missing here. Spacer and agate. Then another spacer and rondelle. Now let's go up to this side. We're going to put the green. We're going to just leave this barrel bead out, but from there we're going to go to this do the same with the green, the rondelle, the green, the agate. And we're just going to keep going like this with the rondelle. I missed a rondelle here. We're going to put a rondelle right here as well. I was thinking my pattern didn't look like something I would do, but there we go. Then we're going to have now this, we're going to have to see if this last green is even needed. We may not need it because it may be too long by now. But what we're going to do is we're going to hook onto this one side here, string this side. Then we'll hook onto this side here and string this side. And we're going to see what the length is when we get there. We may need to pull some beads off, so we'll have to see. So let's first get out some peridot. And so that I don't have to worry about the length, since I already have this strung the way I want it to sit, I am just going to put a bead stopper on this one end, and I'm going to bead from that side up to my filigree piece. So we will just start doing that. And when we get to the filigree piece, we'll hook it on, but we won't do this the other side until we know if we need to take beads off. So now we're going to stop right here and crimp it right onto there. Now I'm going to, since we seem to have extras of these, and I may have, oops, one of you goes over here, put these so they end over here with it on. I'm not going to put that there though. I'm going to put it right here on this end. And now we're going to put on a crimp tube. We're going to go through this piece here. We're going to crimp it up here. Now, because we're not going to crimp the other side yet, we don't have to worry about how loosely or tightly we make this right here on this side. So let's get it pretty much the way you think it needs to be. Okay. And then we will crimp this off. So we'll get our crimping plier, which I use the magical crimper. It's got a divot. You put that 2x2 tube right in the middle of it, and then you squish and turn it, put it back in the middle again, squish again, and keep going around and doing that until you've got formed a little ball and your crimp doesn't want to crimp anymore. There we go. Now I'm going to see if I can get these pieces to come up and over this a second time. I'm hoping these little spacers will. The beads I know will, but I'm not sure about the spacers. So, come on you. There we go. It's a little tight, but that's all right. We don't want them to be loose anyway. I'm going to cut this off so that it should fall about midway through the rondelle. So there we go with this side. And I'm going to move this bead stopper up to where this one bead is at, and we're going to cut this off on this side. Now I'm going to crimp it to this side, and I'm going to, it looks like this side is the, and I noticed that there's a little hole right here, see? I think the wire will go through there. We will try it out. It will. It's a little tight, but that's good. We don't care if it's tight or not. So let's get some more wire unspooled here. And this time we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to bring it from the other side, and then when we get to this side, we will hook to it. Come on, you. There we go. So we got a bead stopper on, and we're going to start from this side. Butterfingers. Now this side has the difference of having this barrel bead here. There we go. There's this side done. Now we're going to I don't think we need more than, say, that much over there to crimp that on. So we'll cut this off right here. And that should give us plenty to crimp this end over here. So now we have to turn this baby. We're going to put the crimp bead on, or tube I should say. Now we're going to come through that little hole right here. Then we're going to go through our crimp tube. And up we go. Now we'll go through these. Got to get it through our little spacer here. Come on, you. There we go. Then our barrel bead. And the spacer again. And the green bead. So there, I don't even need to cut any of that off. But I do need to get this crimped up here. So let's get the crimped pliers out. Get onto that little crimp tube. I'm going to push it up a little bit so it's a little tighter. And then crimp. And turn. And crimp. And keep turning and crimping till you get that round bead. This is what I call an ugly crimp. My first one went fine, but I must have not got the second one in the middle properly, so it didn't want to crimp straight anymore. So gotta try and repair it somewhat by going around with it in the center again. And see if we can't get it to behave a little better. Well, it's not too bad right now. So But since it does look sort of ugly and it's right at the beginning, and I do have plenty of extra wire, I think I'm going to cut it off and redo it. So let's get a crimp tube in, go through that little hole again. Get her turned to the tube, and come on, you. Just need the tube right now. So now we will get this in the center again. Squish. There we go. Now we'll take and get the beads back on this side again. Okay. Now this sort of has a front and back, so we want to make sure that we have it so that the front is pretty much for sure in the front. Yeah, so that's going to sit on your arm like so, with that focal being right there like that. So now we will check it and see how long it actually ends up being here. As it sits, it says it's 7.5 inches, which would be about the max length we'd want it, which we'd need to take off the 2 green beads here for sure. But because we have some wider beads in here, as you can see, when your wire goes through, it goes like so. So when it comes around, that stays. Right, that bit in the middle stays smaller. So let's get our sizer out and see what it wants to be as far as size is concerned on the sizer. Well, it is going to be, I think we are going to take those 2 beads off, because even though it comes, that's not quite meeting there at the 7, when we put the lobster claw on, we put the 2 crimp tubes on, we put our jump ring on, it's going to be at least another 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. And I think then we're going to be bigger than the 7.5 that we want to be. So we're going to take these 2 last green beads off before we crimp it up. So then we will take a crimp, and we're going to take the little jump ring here, this teeny one, and that's going to be for the lobster claw. So we're going to turn this around. We're going to go through our crimp. And then we're also going to start going through our beads here. So we'll go through our, come on little guy, and then through the next one. Come on. And through the green one. Now we're going to start working it so that it goes down all the way to meet the other beads. Oh, come on, go down there. That looks pretty good. Ease this around a little bit, make sure it's not too tight, and then we'll crimp this one. Come on, little guy, can you stay out of the way here? Okay, tuck test, and cut the extra wire. Now we need to do this side, but I'll need to get another crimp because I used that, cut that one off. So I'll have to go get that. We have another crimp here. So now we're just going to take this side. Actually, it looks like I got 2 extra crimps there. Oh well, I can always put one back. And then we're going to hook this side up. Now if I decide it's too short after I get this hooked up, that's not a problem. I can just put an extender chain on it. Come on, you. Go through there. Okay. Looks like that's good right there. So we'll get the crimping pliers out and crimp that one. Ooh, we moved a bit there. Knuckles cracked. Okay. Jump ring, get out of the way. Okay, now we'll cut this extra wire off here. Alrighty then, put our lobster claw on this side, and then she will be done. So we'll get our pliers out, open up our tiny little jump ring here. Come here, you. Close her back up. Oop. Sounds like she wants to be a problem today. It's all right, we'll get her to work. There we go. So now we need to put our extra bead in our 2 beads in our extra crimp away, but here is our bracelet finished. And we will hook her up here. Looks like she wants to flip on there just a little bit. That's all right. There we go. Now let's see how big she actually ended up being, shall we? And she's at 7 1/4. So it's a really good thing we took out those 2 extra beads. But pretty bracelet. Like I say, this is our front piece right here, these 2, and the others are extra. Well, not extra, but they're our pattern, as you can see. So it's a pretty little bracelet all finished. There she goes. There she is. So there we go. There is our pretty bracelet using our bargain bead box for March, Art Deco Luxe. I think it turned out really nice. Like I said, it's 7 1/4 inches all finished up. And isn't that pretty? So we have all of our beads in here. I think this turned out lovely. Hope you enjoyed making this with me. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and again, we have been using beads from the Art Deco Luxe March kit from Bargain Bead Box. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.